Welcome everyone to the street circuit of Baku. One of the newer tracks on the calendar, the 6 km circuit, is a combination of technical corners and an extremely long straight. Teams need to tune their car to perfection here, needing downforce to get through the tight turns around the castle section, whilst needing to still go at top speed and overtake, and avoid being overtaken, themselves down the straight. Being a street circuit, if you make a mistake here, you are punished to the highest order, so concentration is always key. Let's battle it out in Baku. Moving on to the driver's standings, F1 Amazing Hour has 75 points with his 3 wins. Bullet Boy is keeping him honest on 52 points, while there's a tight fight for third with Jumperline, Eye Contrast and Plebs all close together. In the constructor standings, Alfa Romeo have 75 points and are on top, while Racing Point and Renault round out the top 3. Let's see if any teams can make a move in today's race. And we are here in Azerbaijan. Just started qualifying. A few cars have hit the track so far. As we watch Eye Contrast now come out to the track and a few other cars jump out in front of him. I expect everyone will just be getting a few cider laps as usual before really putting in their bankers. Fortunately, I have a little bit of a bug here with the sound. Bear with me for a second. Okay, it looks like we have that glitch. Okay, we'll be right back while we fix up the in-game audio. Okay, welcome back everyone. We fixed up that small technical issue. This year's edition does have that glitch where sometimes you can lose the car audio. Sorted that out now, and we're on board with Eye Contrast again. Currently doing a lap, so we've had some people put in some laps already. Amazing Hour has a 1:37.6, and everyone's starting to go across the line now. We follow Eye Contrast at the moment. Pete's put in a 1:37.6, Billy a 1:38.1, Darren a 1:38.4. We've got a yellow flag. Someone probably just slowing down to let some of the people on hot laps through. We'll go on board with Lewis now. The other Ferrari, one of the new members to the series. We'll see how he goes today. Quite an intimidating track to race your first race in the Elite Series on. We also have Mikulitsky. I hope I say that correctly. He is a new member as well. Jumping down in the Williams there. Let's bring up some other details. A lot of people going out on softs, which is interesting. A few people on the hards just to get a little bit of a look. The newcomers are on hards just to have a look around the track first. Jump line and also on an outlap, and Plev's on an outlap, but he's on the softs. And we're at Azerbaijan for the 4th round, which is one of my favourite tracks personally. It's going to be quite punishing, but it's technical. Very long down that straight, provides a really good opportunity for cars to get past each other, which I like, but also in that middle section around the castle. Bit of danger. Oh, losing it nearly there, Lewis. Lucky to hold on to that one. Blocking up around the second last corner before we go down that large straight. Jump on board with Levs, who's just on an outlap, so we'll follow him until he can... He's just coming back in. A few cars coming back in. We'll sit with jump line, and as most of the cars are in the pits at the moment, as I was saying, this track provides quite the challenge, very unforgiving. You lose the rear end, that wall can end your day entirely. It'll be interesting to see the approach a lot of these drivers take, whether they are on the side of the caution a bit more, maybe slow down the lap times during the race just to make sure they get through the race, or whether they're going to be full pedal to the floor all the way going for those points. Very high risk reward. Those two corners always interesting as well. There's jumper line is still on the hards. Gonna try and put a lap in though. Oh, and that car put him off a little bit there, I think. Not necessarily in the way, just in the line of sight when you're looking for that apex. That's not really hitting the apexes here anyway, maybe just having a look around. Still good to get a time on the board in case there are crashes elsewhere. Lewis looks like he might be putting the mediums on for his second time out. Hasn't come out of the pitch yet, so I'll just have to wait and see. Maybe just flicking through the tyre selections. And this corner there is quite interesting. The one before you go through the castle section. It is very tight and very easy to get penalties. And the way the curb is, if you do go over the curb at the wrong angle, it can really unsteady your car and put you under a lot of pressure from people behind you. But you do get it right without crossing the line of incurring a penalty or a warning. You can gain a lot of time there compared to some of the other drivers, which is very handy in this circuit. If you want to gain that momentum and be right up the back of someone before you get to this straight. Making that very smooth there, jump line. So we have 12 races today. A couple of Renaults, a couple of Ferraris, 2 Williams. So a lot of the pairings are on board here. Jump line and will bank that lap down a 1:42.4. Lev still hasn't put a time in yet. We've got a lot out on the outlap now. This is our series leader. Amazing hour. It looks like he's just started his lap, so we'll stay on board with this one. Let's go on board with Amazing Hour, the series leader at the moment. I wonder if he'll be able to hold that lead on the streets of Baku. Main nemesis not here today, Bullet Boy. which is unfortunate, but he does give him the opportunity to build a lead early in this season. Let's see how it didn't quite go across the curbs correctly there and just lost a little bit of time. Oh, and he's hit the wall. And he's stuck in the castle section. Lucky to get away with that. Very, very lucky. And it looks like he's possibly interrupted a few going on a lap behind him as well. But he is lucky he did not lose the front wheel there and be out of the session entirely. We'll move over to Pete, who was behind him. Geez, touching the wall, scraping the tyre there. Oh, and he nearly lost it as well. A little lag spike on our screens. Let's see what lap he can put in here. Darren 11 just went across 1:37.8. And Pete's gonna, no, he's gonna go into the pits. Obviously wasn't happy. Probably where he was scraping the tyres there. Or Amazing Hours crash put him off. As Spilly also going in the pits. Rossi going very slow. Possibly building up his ERS to go for another lap after this one. Or will be coming back into the pits for a new set of tyres. Doesn't look like Crossy's going to bank a lap there either. Just having a look on the softs, a lot of these drivers. Lewis is out on the mediums. And he is going to bank a lap here. Let's see what he can do on the mediums. A 1:39.4. So that's not too bad. Possibly going for a different strategy. It'll be interesting to see if he puts the softs on before the end. How many of these runners go with the softs. Generally, you go softs into hards. Try that one stopper. But there is flexibility in this track where you can switch strategies if you get in trouble early, and it's not too bad. We'll just stay on board with Lewis here, as most are in the pits. Pete's on an out lap. So is Spilly. Let's stay with Pete since he didn't quite do what he wanted to last time. Plebs has put in a lap while all that was happening, a 1:38.1. Oh, and he's touched the wall as well. These guys are right on the limit here. That's probably... I mean, he's on an out lap and he's hit the wall there. Let's scrape the wall again. I'm going to stick with Pete. I think there might be a bit of action here. He's right on the edge. Getting ready to start his lap. Right round everyone there. And we've just seen some instructions. We're going to go with Miku for the new runner in the Williams. The new driver, I should say. Pete's come in. Going to go on board with Billy here. See if he can improve on fourth. On board with Spilly. But last week we did have a few technical issues where we couldn't hear the engine sounds coming through the audio. If I can just get a confirmation we can hear both my voice and the in-game audio engine sounds, that'd be great. As we come through the cruise, oh, and he's Oh, he's lucky he's not out totally. Is he go? Can he get it into reverse? That castle section, I should say, is really playing havoc with these drivers, trying to get higher up on the grid. And he hit that hard, as he's got a 5-place grid penalty because he must have hit Jumpalainen, who was behind him. Possibly. Wow, that's going to hurt Spilly, a 5-place grid penalty. And is Jumpalainen, does he have damage from that contact? I don't think so, because he's trying to warm these tyres up. You guys are a bit lucky. If that happens during the race and we get a bit of a pile up, that will definitely make it interesting. But no, he mustn't have too much damage. He's going to put a lap in. Here we go. Go on board with Jumpalainen, who's last. He really needs to put in a good one here. Go on, Spilly. Spilly needs to get out of the way. Oh, and he slowed him right down. That is not ideal. Got more on their outlaps. Oh, I think he's hit the wall. So we've got Andre. He's on medium. So he's going with that strategy. He's going to try and start on the mediums, which is going to be interesting. Try that overcut. Our contrast is he on the hards. He's on the hards as well, so he's going to try a different strategy also, going with that overcut. This is going to be very interesting. Oh, what's happened here? Spilly and Andre have hit each other. Spilly's out. Andre won't get a better time than that. He's out as well. No, oh, I wish we had have caught that a bit earlier to see what was going on. F1, it looks like he's on his main lap here to try and beat a 1:37.6. See if he's able to do that. A bit of chaos there in the middle is Spilly. Getting in the way of a few guys there, and in the end causing contact with Andre. And whoa, that's right on the edge from Amazing Hour. Very nicely done through that castle section. Sticking with him in the end, and then we'll cycle down to see the others, as I think Amazing Hour might be the first one to go across the line. Well, they launched themselves over that second last corner. Very technical to do that because it does unsteady the car quite a lot. As no one's finished yet, so I do think F1 Amazing Hour's the first one to cross the line up here. And he is going to put down 1:37.3. Pete's hitting the wall again. What Darren's got. Lewis has finished. He's finished with a 1:37.8. Jumpalainen, that really hurt him. He's going to start at the back of the grid. Darren's coming down the back straight here. See if he's able to improve on his time of 1:37.8. Kicking to the left hand of the track. And he goes pole at the moment, a 1:37.2 by 0.008. Gets the pole. Darren's got the pole. Pete, F1 Amazing Hour down to third. Lewis has finished. We still have Levs coming down the straight. Can he improve on a 1:38.1? And he does, into fourth, a 1:37.1. An action-packed qualifying, that's for sure. We'll bring up our grid order in a moment. And there we have a grid order. So Darren will start on pole with Pete behind him. The two Mercedes drivers, F1 Amazing Hour in third, Plebs fourth, Lewis, a newcomer into the series in the Ferrari in fifth, Spilly 40, Mick Q, Crossy, Andre, Eye Contrast, and Jumpalainen at the back on the hards. So Eye Contrast will be on the hards, and Jumpalainen will start on the hards. Very interesting qualifying. We'll be back in a moment for the start of the race. And we're just waiting for everyone to ready up so we can get along with the formation lap. The warm welcome for anyone who's just joining into the stream now. We're just on our formation lap, getting ready to start this race in Azerbaijan. We have two Mercedes on the front row of the grid. Darren 11 and Pete Crichton. Amazing Hour, our points leader at the moment, in third, so he'll have some work to do in those first couple of corners. Levs with a very nice last lap to get into fourth. We have the new boy Lewis in the Ferrari, fifth, 40, Miku, Crossy, Andre in the Williams, Eye Contrast, Spilly and Jumpalainen. We did have some controversy in qualifying, which may be looked at by the stewards after the race. Spilly has taken his penalty and is starting down in 11th. But a few guys got caught up in the castle section and caused a bit of havoc for some of the other runners who were on fast laps. Also a couple of people getting in the way. Glitch there, we're just looking at the trees. On board with Amazing Hour here. Looks like both of the Mercedes are pushed onto the front, so that will not be good for their tyres or their brakes. So this corner could be very interesting if they're not up to temperature. 40 in the Renault, not far behind his teammate Plevs. Get a nice clear view for the start of this race. This looks like a pretty good view to start off with of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix round 4 of the race Spec Elite Series. As we have 2, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are racing in Baku. Mercedes both get a pretty good start. As we spread out, there's a little bit of action at the back as everyone's trying to get around these corners. Darren 11's hold his position. Amazing Hour looking for move on the outside. No contact yet. Everyone's racing fairly well. Very gentlemanly around those first 2 corners. 40's made up a place. And there is a yellow flag. Looks like it probably at the back Spilly's come into a bit of trouble. But very good start for both Mercedes. Amazing Hour. And 40's got a hold of Plebs. Plebs is going backwards at the moment. Must have got a bad exit there because he's still on the track. And we have another yellow flag, which is probably Spilly again. at the back there. No one else seems to be moving down the grid. But a good start from most of the runners. And they've gotten into a bit of formation at the moment. Through the castle section. Everyone gets through. Very well done. Eye contrast on those hards. Different strategy to everyone else. Jump on line and close behind him. Also on the hards. Miku and Lewis have made a good start in their first race in the series. And a bit of traction loss there for eye contrast. There's the yellow flag in sector 2. And it's Spilly again. He is having all sorts of problems. No front wing, and he has retired from the session. So he's out. Let's head back to the front of the race. Both Mercedes still at the front, and they're making a little bit of a gap on Amazing Hour here. If they can get away, be very good for the Constructor Championship and Mercedes. Amazing Hour getting a bit of a gap down to Lewis because he's battling away with 40. Oh, and he's touched the wall there. Hopefully not too much damage, but he did lose the rear end when he came around the corner. Plebs has overtaken him as well. So maybe some damage. Oh, and they're tied into that corner as well. This is some good racing from the Renaults and the Ferrari. And all this has caused Crossy to be able to catch up in that Toro Rosso. And most of the field actually has... Looks like Crossy's got around, and Andre as well. Lewis must have some damage as he's just getting out of the way there. Must have some damage, so he's going to have to change his strategy if he can get into the pits. Doesn't look like he has too much damage, but it must be enough of a downforce issue to cause him some trouble. Got through the castle okay, so that would have been one of his main problems if he does have a downforce issue. Let's head back up the field. The Renaults are now racing with each other here. All of that has caused a little bit of a gap between Amazing Hour and the rest of the field. And Lewis he may have always had a problem. He's still in the race, so if he can get into the pits, he can change his strategy and get some points because there are only 11 here. I would not be retiring. He can just get into the pits. And he's gone really wide there. Have to take it easy to get into the pits. Darren 11 sets a fastest lap of 1:42.3. Let's go back up to the front of the grid. These three have made a little break here from the rest of the field. As we're on board with Mercedes, Darren and Pete holding off Amazing Hour for the moment. There's a 4-second gap back to 40, who has Plebs with him. Those Renaults won't want to crash into each other and might want to sort that out. And then there's a bit of a gap between the Renaults and Miku, the new runner in the Williams, so he's falling back a little bit. He's got Crossy hot on his heels. So there are three main battles here. The two Renaults, and then we've got the Williams, Toro Rosso and Ferrari of Eye Contrast, who's doing quite well in those hard tyres. This could be working out for him, although he's probably around 9 to 10 seconds off the leader at the moment. But Miku's got a fight on his hands here from Crossy in the Toro Rosso. He's going to make a move. We're on lap 3, so DRS should be activated. We'll stick with this. Levs will want to look at 40 as well. Down that straight. Is he going to get right at the back? Amazing Hour sets a new fastest lap of 1:41.9. And Crossy is making that move. And it looks like he'll get it done. He slots back into place to glide around the first corner. Very nicely done. Doesn't look like Plebs was able to get close enough. But he is right up the back here down this second straight. Secondary straight. It's a bit shorter than the real long one down the back, but again not able to get it done. I guess patience here is important. when you get impatient, you try and make a move that's not there, that you can get yourself into trouble. And Lewis, it looks like he is 29 seconds behind Jompalainen, so still room to come back. It is one of those tracks where you can come back if you have a bit of trouble and get yourself some nice points. And F1 has, there's a big battle here at the front. I'm going to stick with this. There's F1 now right up the back of Pete. He's trying to get into that lead. So close to the back of the Mercedes. Deducts out from air on this last corner before we head into the big long straight. All the cars are going to have DRS, except for Pete obviously, and we'll see what's going to happen into this first corner. Will F1 be able to get close enough? Aaron's falling back. He may have a bit of damage. He's falling back so much. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. And Lewis is out of the race. Where's he? We can't switch to where he is. He's out of the race. Sector 2, possibly the castle section. Darren 11's in the pits. Andre's in the pits as well. Does he have a bit of damage? Possibly from what happened before. We're only on lap 5, so you shouldn't be coming in unless you have damage. But Darren must have had some contact with F1 Amazing Hour. And he switched to what appear to be another set of softs to try and catch up. So he'll have to come back in again, probably for some hards later on, as there's more carnage down here. As Miku's made way and Eye Contrast and Jompalainen have gone around him, so he possibly a little bit of damage as well, or is struggling on those soft tyres that do not last long around here at Azerbaijan. Your rears light up like Christmas trees and they do not last very long at all, so a few of these guys might be starting to struggle. Normally you can get to sort of lap 7, 8 I feel, and then switch to the hards, but a few of these guys' setups may be ultra difficult or putting a lot of stress on those tyres. There's a lot of guys locked up there over those curbs. Pete's still ahead of Amazing Hour, able to hold him off at the moment. Pleb's 5.4 seconds behind Amazing Hour, so I've got a race into at the front. With the Renaults following behind. Plebs has got ahead of 40 while that was going on as well. And 40's into the pits. Rossi's coming as well, so this can't be damaged. They must be going off these soft tyres, and they're all going to start switching over to the hards. Actually, Rossi's going onto the mediums, so we could be seeing guys wanting to get the mediums right to the end. That'll depend on setup and how much they can save their tyres, or a soft medium strategy. And remember that we do have Jompalainen and Eye Contrast. Jompalainen's got ahead of Eye Contrast here. They're on a different strategy to everyone else completely, both starting on the hards. But it does look like Jompalainen has got ahead of Eye Contrast. And they're in a race to themselves, and we won't really know too much about where they're going to pop out until they do their pit stop late in the race. How long can plebs go on these soft tyres? Another question as well. F1's right up the back here, only 0.1 behind. Is he going to go for the lead down this straight? We get the helicopter view here. Wonderful view of the Baku circuit. Oh, and F1's tagged the wall. He's tagged the wall. How much damage has he got there? But, oh, he's mucked that up coming around that chicane. Whether there's something we missed, but he has tagged the wall and he's coming into the pits. And he must have a lot of damage because he's tagged the wall again coming into the pits. So this has thrown a spanner in the works. Pete's in the pits as well. And he's straight back out, and he's going to go on that soft hard strategy. What is amazing how we're going to do? He needs a new front wing, so he did damage his front wing when he tagged it down the straight. I wonder if he had some damage before that. It's very rare that you see an error like that down the straight, so I think he's got some damage from previously and then gone too hot into that chicane down the straight. He comes out just ahead of Crossy, who will have heat already in his tyres and will put some pressure on. So Contrast now takes the lead of the race. He got back ahead of Jumpalainen while all that was going on. There's a lot of action in this race. It's definitely a good one. I'm enjoying it. I hope you are as well. A lot of different strategies going on, which is making it all very interesting. Pete, effectively the leader at the moment, because our Contrast and Jumpalainen haven't pit, so this might not be working out for them because he is very close. Only 2.6 seconds off the back of Jumpalainen. And Plebs of 40 is still racing each other. Very civilized between the two Renault drivers. And Darren 11 is right up the back of them. The Plebs, like a yellow rim there, so they're on mediums now. I'd have to have a look at who stopped. As I said, everyone else has stopped once. And just a little glitch there, so the Renaults do appear to be on hards. Yeah, it looks like we do have an in-game glitch, so I'm not 100% sure who's on hards and who's on mediums. I apologize for that, because our telemetry is telling us everyone's on hards except for Andre. But as you can see, our screens are telling us otherwise. I think we'll trust the telemetry. It makes more sense that everyone would go as long as they can on the softs, then onto the hards and not come back in. I apologize for that. A little in-game glitch. Might leave that up there just so everyone can see, because there may be some confusion from a few of the guys at home. If you are watching this, you're seeing a different rimmed wall on the tyre, but our telemetry is telling us everyone's on hards except for Andre, who is on mediums. Different strategy from him as well. And that front wing damage has cost Amazing Hour behind Plebs now. Down into 7th, effectively 5th. And this hard strategy doesn't look like it has worked for Jumpalainen Eye Contrast. When they pit, they're going to fall down the field obviously, but they're going to be on a lot quicker tyres at the end, so it could make for some great action if they can try and make their way through the field on those brand new soft tyres. Everyone's going to catch up to them soon, I think. .40 behind Darren 11, so he's got past both Renaults. And very nice overtake there from Darren. Stick with this at the moment. And Amazing Hour, 1 second behind Plebs. We'll keep an eye on that one as well, because he'll be wanting to make up some of that lost time and ground from that front wing damage. And the time it took to change that front wing has pushed him back a little bit. He'll be wanting to cut his way back through the field. They go through the castle section. And don't be too fooled by these little lag spikes we see. Oh, and has he lost it, the back end there? The Mercedes. I have to check. I'm a little unsure if we're getting a little bit of lag spike, but Andre's had some issues. Miku as well, but both Mercedes appeared to lose it through there, and I'm curious to see who has damage and who doesn't. He must have some damage. That looked like a poor corner as well there from Darren. So these Renaults are going to catch up to him quickly. Or he's just pushing himself too hard. As F1 is right behind. We've got Sector 3. Yellow flag there as well. Stick with this. Let's stick with the two Renaults an amazing hour. Because I feel he's going to make a move soon. Got a long train here, so this is an exciting race because we've got Pete, Darren, 40 plebs, amazing hour, all right next to each other, and it looks like Darren has gotten past Pete. Oh, is that? Have they crashed? They have crashed. They have crashed. Who is that? That's Pete. He's hit it. Did he catch anyone else as well? Amazing hour, trying to get past plebs. 40 got away with that, and he's got a huge gap. He's managed to get through the castle section along with Darren. F1, amazing hour in plebs. I'm not so sure. Crossy right behind them as well as Pete has huge amounts of damage to the front wing of his car. He's going to have to go into the pits. So that's what I was talking about during the start of this race. It's so costly, so punishing. You make a little mistake, a little loss of concentration. But not only for yourself, it's also for the guys who are behind you in that castle section. They are blind coming up that hill, up that incline. And iContrast is coming into the pits, so his hards only lasted 11 laps before he's decided to change. He's had to change his front wing, so that's possibly why he has come into the pits. Maybe a little mistake there from him as well. And he's onto the mediums, so he'll probably try and go to the end on those mediums. There's Pete replacing his wing in the pits. And he is coming back out onto softs to try and catch up. I don't think they're going to last to the end of the race. And it looks like he's taking a penalty. He must have taken a 5-second penalty there. I missed that. So this has shaken the race up well and truly. Jump line and staying out on those hards. Got a little bit of a gap now from that carnage. It's probably worked out best for him. We're going to sit with Darren here. 42 seconds behind him. And Crossy's got past Plevs, so I wonder if Plevs has damage. And he's just trying to stay out there with that bit of damage. Or if Crossy's just beat him for speed. We'll wait and see. We'll keep an eye on it to see what happens. So Miku's 10 seconds behind the Plevs, so there's a bit of a gap there. On board still with Plebs, trying to chase down Crossy. Jumpalina, he's coming to the pits now, so those hards must be falling off a bit of a cliff, and he's onto the mediums. Now let's see if he can come out in front of iContrast. I dare say he will, because iContrast had to change his wing and take that penalty. So he will come out in front of both Miku and iContrast. And in an okay position here in 6th. See, Crossy building a bit of a gap now, getting out of DRS range of Plevs. Oh, but he's tagged the wall. Hopefully not too much damage there, just tried to turn in a little bit too soon. Set himself up for the next corner. The concentration level starting to drop from a lot of these guys here, and they're making those little mistakes that can be so costly. Lock up there from Crossy. Amazing Hour chasing 40 down, only 1.1 seconds behind. Overall about 3.1 from the lead, so doing really well to catch up after that damage and further contact down the straight where he had to change his wing. And Miku, in his first race of the series, is not having a bad one down there in 7th. Bit of a gap in front and behind, but he's going okay. Pete's 28 seconds behind by contrast. That castle drama has caused him a big headache. And Andre in 10th position there, 8.8 behind Pete. But our leader at the moment is Darren. And looking quite good. So halfway through this race, Darren 11 is your leader. 40 in second. About 2 seconds behind. Amazing Hour. Not without his problems so far. He's right on the back of 40 now. Possibly looking to make that move down the next straight. And we have Crossy and Plevs still close to each other. Jumpalainen on that alternate strategy. Oh, and there's Darren has hit the wall. He's hit the wall. He has massive damage. So he skipped that curve, hit the wall, and he has a big problem now. He's going to have to come into the pits as well. So the Mercedes runners in all sorts of problems. After being front row of the grid, both have made little errors and little mistakes. It's going to cost them. Darren's going to try and stay out with that damage. He's going to try and stay out. We did see bits of carbon fiber coming off that car. You can see the end plates missing. How well will they be able to get around this track with that damage? Not well. As we can see, he's tagged the wall again. He possibly should have come into the pits and just fixed it up straight away, because all this is doing now is costing him time. 40 and Amazing Hour need to try and get around him without doing damage themselves, which can be difficult when the car in front is being a little bit unpredictable. Getting little lag spikes for the Mercedes. It's hard to tell if he's going straight or not, but let's see if he can get through this castle section safely. From the front wing of 40 here, quite a good view. He does manage to. These guys want to get past him quickly. Rossy's caught up a little bit of time while this is going on. And he has scraped that wall again. But let's see what happens here down the straight. Is Darren going to go into the pits and change to the softs or mediums? He has given 40 DRS, which we'll be very thankful for. Not a great view to see what's happening. And it looks like both runners possibly got around. No, the Mercedes holds Amazing Hour off for the moment. Doing 40 a little bit of a favour there. Amazing Hour does get past him though. Darren's going around again. Is he just going to try and hold on for the rest of the race with that damage? Be interesting to see how many runners he can hold off. He does seem to have a fairly good amount of speed. I mean, it did take 40 and Amazing Hour a little bit of time to get past him. He's hit the wall again and he's lost some more carbon fiber coming off that car. He's going to have to come in. I don't think he can last to the end of the race the way he is. Crossy's catching now at a rate of knots. 1.5 seconds behind. Plebs on 1.1 behind him, so he's fallen out of DRS range of Crossy, which won't help him down that big straight. Jumpalainen with that alternate strategy, not too badly placed either, and he's hit the wall again, Darren. He's not more careful, he's going to be out the race completely. There are points up for grabs, so it is beneficial to stay in the race here, so really needs to get around to those pits. Kubiku keeping a good race going. Plebs back under that second. Does he have DRS down the straight? It does look like he does. That wing is open. Amazing Hour has just taken the lead. And Darren is gone out of the race. So Darren's out of the race. No points for Darren. Mistakes have cost Mercedes dearly today. But Amazing Hour, a fairly familiar sight. Crossy's he's tagged something. His Plebs and Jumpalainen have gone around him as well. So something has happened to Crossy there. Does have a full front wing, so I wonder how much damage, but he must have gone wide. His Plebs is on the podium, so 2 Renaults on the podium at the moment. Let's see if Jumpalainen can change that. And Miku now right behind Crossy. He'll be looking to move himself up in this race. The good points on offer here. Safely through the castle section. Mickey went a bit wide there. He's looking for a better angle to come up the hill. And 40, still within DRS range. He might be looking to make a move here. Right on the tail. And it is one of those tracks where you can see multiple changes in position between 2 drivers as they get that drag down the straights or that toe. It allows you to change position, and there's not really a great place to change again until the next time. So you can see that mini tug of war between 2 drivers often here. An Amazing Hour in the lead, a familiar sight for those keeping track of the Elite Series. Now has a little gap. 40, about 5.1 seconds. He got a speeding in the pit lane, going in for a different set of tyres, going on the mediums to end the race here. Jumpalainen making time up on Plebs, looking for that podium. Make that alternate strategy work for him. Stick with this one. Jumpalainen 1.2 seconds behind Plebs, and that podium position. But a bit of a gap between the top 4 now, and Miku in 5th, 8.2 seconds behind. Rossy's on the back of Miku, trying to take that position back. The contrast is close to these guys as well, as we see them coming down the straight. Bit of a battle going on here between Crossy, Miku and our contrast. The contrast, of course, on those medium tyres. These guys blocking up the track nicely. No way round at the moment. Will we see any more mistakes before the end of this race? Lap 18 of 26. Any little mistake is being punished to the full extent of the law of Baku at the moment, which is often another pit stop and a change of wing or a DNF. Jumpalainen has made that move on Plevs and gotten past him, so he's now on the podium with that alternate strategy from last. Keeps this up, he'll get that driver of the day vote. Very nice drive, making that strategy work for him. Plevs already falling behind, so I just wonder if there's a bit of a mistake there. He's lost a lot of ground. 40 still sticking to the back of Amazing Hour. Does not want to let this one go. It's going to be a good finish here. Battle still going on between Rossi, Miku and Eye Contrast in the middle of the field there. Come back to that one. Rossi holding these two off. Eye Contrast right behind Miku. Not able to make that move. Not able to make it stick. That's key here. You've got to stay as close as you can to get the full toe. Contrast just weaving out. A little bit of a mistake from Miku. Is he going to get it done in the straight, or is he just going to wait a sec? Looks like he's just going to wait. Much safer to do it down the straight if you can. And he's pulling out. Is he going to get it done around the outside? No. No, he doesn't. So Jumpalainen now has pulled away from Plevs, 2.2 seconds out. Oh, big mistake from Crossy. That's going to let them in. Losing the back end around that corner down the straight. We're going to have 3 wide down the straight. And Miku holds Crossy off. And Eye Contrast, and Crossy's the big loser there. That mistake costing him big time, costing him 2 places. The race has been split definitely into 2 parts now. And Amazing Hour has pulled away from 40 while all that's going on. He's 2 seconds behind, so Crossy's tagged the wall a little bit there again. Amazing Hour, if he can keep his concentration, he'll be able to hold. As Andre just sets a fastest lap at 1:47.5. If he can hold his concentration, it's going to be another win for Amazing Hour. The Contrast still at the back of Miku. Like he will probably be able to get it done on this time down the straight. He does. So, recapping, we have Amazing Hour 40, Jumpalainen, Plevs, Eye Contrast now into 5th. with this alternate strategy from the back of the grid with John Polainen. Got Miku, Rossi, Andre and Pete. Now that on contrast is past Miku, it took him a while, took him a fair few laps, he's starting to pull away. You can see our leader, Amazing Hour, with 40, and it looks like the lapped runner of Pete is in the middle of this battle now, just behind 40 there, so in between John Polainen, who's 4.7 seconds behind 40, so he has 5 laps to try and snare that second position. Keep an eye on how quickly he's able to make up time, if at all, on 40. So Pete trying to unlap himself has got past 40. Cost 40 a bit of time there between himself and Amazing Hour. Not allowed to unlap yourself though, especially if you're faster. But the field fairly well spaced out now. There's no real battles going on. So we'll stick with these front runners. They may lose a bit of concentration like many of the other drivers here today. Such a punishing track. A lot of other tracks just have a little off. You can get away with it, come back onto the track, or you can regather the car. Not in Azerbaijan. It punishes you fully. It's also one of those tracks where if you do have damage, it is very hard to keep going with that damage, especially down that back straight. That little bit of damage upsets the car so much, and you can often overcook the chicane. We saw Amazing Hour do that, causing him to go into the pits, although it has worked out okay for him. He's in the lead of the race now, as you can see. 3 seconds ahead of 40, who has put in a really good race here to be second. John Polainen not really gaining ground, so unless someone makes a mistake, this might be our race order at the end of the race. Amazing Hour 40, John Polainen, Plebs, Contrast, Miku, Crossi, Andre and Pete. So just recapping, Spilly has had a nightmare. He had some issues in qualifying and then had issues at the start of the race. Possibly tagged by eye contrast, but we'll have to wait and see a replay of that. Lewis, one of the new drivers to the series, had a very promising start, but that little mistake cost him dearly, got some damage. Tried to keep going and in the end had to retire from the race. Darren 11 was racing really well along with Pete, who were at the front. So fast, those Mercedes, they'd have good lap time in them, but in the end tagged the wall one too many times, paid dearly for it. As go on board with your race leader, Amazing Hour. Let's follow him just for a little bit here. Let's turn on the slide tree. very nice and smooth from your race leader, Amazing Hour. Can't see too many mistakes coming from the championship leader at the moment. 40 keeping that 3-second gap though, so he's keeping the same pace, just unable to really make up any extra time. Jump line and not making up time either, so they really space themselves out along this street circuit now. Hasn't been on the calendar for too long. I'm pretty sure 2017 was the first time. May have been Daniel Ricciardo who took the win that year. To double check my records, I would not quote me on that. You're happy to send me a hate mail if I am wrong there. As he comes across the line, 2 laps to go. Can he hold on? .9 seconds behind. Gets in this danger zone now where you can get a little bit comfortable, but actually the tyres are quite worn. These cars are 18-19 laps in. Jump line in those mediums, possibly starting to fall off a little bit. 13 laps by contrast, 14 laps on his mediums as well. No one really in striking distance, although Miku is in striking distance of, by contrast, he's caught up a bit. He's on the hards, 19 laps old. And a few guys have pitted to go for fastest lap here, Crossy being one of them. Will Crossy try and get the fastest lap? I think Andre is currently holding it. Crossy's going to make a move for it. Miku is going to try and make a move on eye contrast for 5th position in the race and some valuable points for the Ferrari team. Sorry, for the Williams team. Let's see if he's able to do it. Not quite quick enough in that last sector to get close enough down this straight. So important, of course, to be within that DRS range. Amazing how it has crossed onto his last lap. We'll stick with these guys for a little bit longer and then we'll go to our race leader to watch him cross line to take out the win, barring any mistakes. Through the castle section. With a 3-second time penalty. If he has another one of those, let's jump a line and back in the frame. He'll want to keep it under 6 seconds. Coming through, another clinical race for Amazing Hour. A little bit scruffy in the middle section, had to change his wing. But with all the chaos going on around him, he's able to hold it together and take the checkered flag. Pete just hitting the wall. It's 43rd, and rounding out your podium is John Palainen with that alternate strategy, making it work for himself from the back of the grid. I would have to give jump line in that drive of the day, I think, because one of the only ones not to make a mistake, not to hit the wall, unless I stand corrected, whereas everyone else had a few issues, had a few problems. Kept it clean, made his strategy work, got himself on the podium. Well done. Rossi just passing the line in 7th. Still waiting for Andre and then Pete to get around the track. But I dare say there's going to be a few frustrated drivers at the end of this race, not feeling their potential, taking nothing away from our podium. Amazing our 40 in Jumpalainen, but there were a few mistakes from a few quick drivers who really could have shaken things up, but weren't able to. Andre just coming down the back straight. We're having to wait for him. Pete, who can't get around the track, to get the timer out. And Andre's going to come across here. Pete ended up retiring from the session. Let the stewards decide what to do there. That's the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We will watch the podium and then have a look at the final standings to confirm them for you. I hope everyone's enjoyed the race here today. That familiar Alfa Romeo on the front, or top of the podium, I should say. Renault in the Haas there as well. Line in the Finn, doing really well, as I said, giving him driver of the day. One of the only ones to keep it really clean and raced his race very well from the back of the grid. As we can see the final standings, penalty to 40, but it doesn't change anything. And that's it from Azerbaijan. Hope to see you next week. Make sure you tune in, and thanks again.